ratting riot. With hopes of a rat fountain, this motley crew works their way through the grain stores and the workshops of an abandoned farmyard.
She's taken to it like a duck to water, from a little handbag, fluffy, pet lapdog to a dirty little scruffy grub that likes killing rats.
Hot topic, where do thermal scopes and spotters fit in our hunting culture? Tim and Kai debate whether it's a technological gooseberry taking the romance out of stalking deer.
I've had thermal for about a year and a half, 2 years now, and I don't think I'm actually shooting an awful lot more deer.
Plus, show us the evidence. We investigate the death of a peregrine last week. We have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain.
There's another one!
Here he goes!
More dogs!
Ripper, leave it!
There is nothing quite so noble as ratting. It has a charm, an elegance, a sophistication that other field sports will never possess. And most of all, it's an absolute riot.
Oh, here it goes! Bramble, come here, Bramble!
Today we've been invited to this partly abandoned farmyard by Ian from the Kent and Sussex Ratters. Theirs is a group bonded by love of their dogs and a healthy respect for Rattus norvegicus.
What are we up to today?
Well, today we're going to rat this grain farm here. It used to be a dairy farm. It's not a dairy farm any longer, so it's become a haven for rats.
Good it, who's here?
Oh, good girl! Good girl! From a point of view of everybody here, we have a great time. We work the dogs, we keep their sporting instincts going. We pride ourselves on doing some serious pest control, but without the use of any chemicals. And what you kill is what you see. This is a Bitzer, this one down here, the one at Julie's feet. This was rescued from a jeweller's in Eastbourne. It just shows the sporting instinct of these dogs. It's deep within them. This is one of our finest little ratting dogs. She barks a bit, as you'll hear, as the morning goes on, but she's a brilliant little ratter. Little handbag dog, because sometimes she has to get picked up because her enthusiasm gets ahead of her. That's a working Fell Terrier, so that's a working Lakeland dog with an attractive beard and moustache, fantastic temperament. And the other dogs we've got here are Border Terriers.
Bryn!
Apart from Wren here, who's a 16-year-old Pat today, old terrier, just a Pat really. She's old, she's 16. She does her own thing, she ploughs her own little furrow really. But as you can hear, being called back now. But again, a masterful little ratter.
Thankfully, this is not Crufts, our famous British dog show, which seems to have forgotten what working dogs do. The first barn shows promise, but with the sacks tightly packed together, the dogs can't get at the rats, which by the smell are here in numbers.
We smell of it really, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's even stronger than your aftershave, David, and that's saying something. I know Brute's back, mate, but you didn't have to use old bottle. Yeah. Go on, girl, go on. Here he goes.
Then it gets busy in and around the grain bins.
Where he goes. There he is. Something. I think that.
Always had terriers, always had lurchers. just ratting, doing a service, because there's so many rats about. It's just doing a service, and as you can see, the dogs love it, humans love it. I don't know who gets more excited, humans or dogs. And I'd love to see my dogs work, especially because I have rescues, but they're often flats or abused dogs, and it's just lovely to get them out doing what they were bred for and what they were designed for. I'm afraid this is my little gobby one that keeps barking.
She was with an Eastbourne jeweller.
She came from a lady that worked in a jeweller's in Eastbourne and a perfumery, lived in a flat, and was just a little handbag job that absolutely stank of perfume. Came to me for home boarding, and about 3 months later they decided they didn't want her anymore. So she stayed, and we've just turned it into a dirty little grub of a terrier.
Unfortunately, Ian's new smoker has caught the mechanical equivalent of COVID-19 and has quit. But apparently that's no great loss. According to the rest of the team, his hose was too floppy to penetrate deeply enough anyway.
It is too soft.
And as soon as it gets warm, it folds if you're not careful.
Shut up!
Told you.
Find me a rat!
That's too floppy.
I will in a minute.
Matter of opinion, I think. I wouldn't take the opinion of all these crusty old geezers and women. Some crustier than others, but no, it worked just fine for the 4 minutes that we ran it.
Everyone works brilliantly together, and every man, woman, child and dog gets stuck in, digging, uncovering and banging.
What are your friends normally doing on a Sunday morning? Not this, I'd have thought.
They're probably playing on the Xbox or something.
Why do you like this?
Because I like getting out with my dogs and with my family.
So out of this lot, which is the best breed then?
Border terriers.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not being a bit biased?
What they're all hoping for this morning is to strike rat gold, El Dorado, delivering what is known in the trade as a rat fountain. This old workshop has the potential to blow.
Up here, up here.
There we go, no. They're under here. There's one, there he goes. Go round and grab.
Go back.
It's been creepy. Oh, what did it go? Bramble, come here, Bramble. Come. They're just so resilient and they're so fast and they know their escape routes. So they're trying to account for every eventuality, especially somewhere as untidy as this, is quite hard. I'm out of breath and I haven't caught anything personally.
The dogs are doing a brilliant job and the bag is building. There are a few more outbuildings to check, but it looks like 37 rats is our lot for today. Last time they were here they had 114. They're an effective bunch.
I mean, one thing that's very noticeable, Ian, is that it's very effective, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what dies and what gets away, and the death is very quick. And the other thing is we can show the owners of the premises exactly how many we've caught, rather than you guesstimate how many you've caught with poison.
But there's a massive tradition to this, isn't there?
It's fantastic. I've got to say, it's so enjoyable. I can't remember, there was a King of England who said he didn't know what he enjoyed most, fox hunting or ratting, but he said it has to be ratting because it is so enjoyable. And the good thing is you can bring your small dogs along. As you saw, some of the dogs here, they're sort of lap dogs, but they've got deep within them the instinct and the tenacity to go after rats, take a bite and go back again. I mean, a rat is a formidable quarry. They don't go easily, and the dogs really enjoy it. It maintains their sporting heritage, and every single one of them will sleep well at the end of today, without a doubt.
If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the Kent Sussex Ratters. Well, there you have it, the broad church that is Fieldsports. And if you like watching that kind of video, let us know. Now from Ratters to a man whose nerves are in tatters, it's David on the Fieldsports channel, News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The UK Parliament is to debate driven grouse shooting. That's after a petition by Chris Packham's Wild Justice Group passed 100,000 signatures. Backbenchers are expected to discuss the proposed ban later this month or early next month. They expect to hold the same debate they held in 2016, when Wild Justice last pushed a petition past 100,000 signatures. The wildlife group does not expect a ban to happen. It says on its blog it'll be interesting to see what MPs say about the issue. BASC has dismissed rumours of a deal with the British Game Alliance and Waitrose over the sale of game birds. The organisation says claims about a financial arrangement circulating on social media are not true. BASC says it gave financial support to the BGA when it started up in 2018 as a secured loan. It says it has no agreements with Waitrose to sell game birds or any other aspect of the supermarket's operation. Maisie, the wire-haired dachshund, is top dog at Crufts 2020. The Best in Show winner took a victory lap with its owner, Kim McAlmont, and a victory poop too. The 2.5-year-old dog was picked from 7 finalists from a staggering 26,000 dogs that entered the event in Birmingham. TV presenter Peter Purvis described the dachshund as gorgeous. Among mistakes on the Channel 4 More 4 Crufts TV commentary this year, presenters claimed that Sealyham Terriers were bred to go into otter earths, Whippets were used to hunt rabbits but that's now banned, and Saluki can run at 70 miles per hour. In actual fact, Sealyhams were bred for ratting. Rabbit hunting with Whippets is not banned, and Salukis top out at nearly 43 miles per hour. A Twitter user spotted a deer in distress after it got its head stuck in a plastic bag. The user, known only as Maria, said the footage was taken in Richmond Park in West London and showed people's carelessness can cause a lot of distress to animals. She reminded users to take their rubbish home. Thanks to Gemma Moore for that story. A man has been jailed for killing an otter near Dorchester. Stuart Carl John Jones from Kilthorne Domer near Yeovil was sentenced after pleading guilty to deliberately killing a protected species, a Eurasian otter, breaking the Conservation of Habitats and Species Regulations 2017. The former owner of Lions Gate campsite and fishery in Dorchester also pleaded guilty to using a trap. The 54-year-old was sentenced to 2 months in prison. A witness said Jones shot the animal at close range while it was stuck in his net, according to Dorset Police. A hunt has posted more video of Sabs harassing its followers. Hunting for Truth Cheshire posted footage of what it called Stockport pet thugs, showing their frustration at not being able to find any illegal activity in Cheshire. The monitors said violence and attempts at intimidation have increased as the season comes to an end, with Sabs reaching new lows. Meanwhile, in Pembrokeshire, it's been one of the wettest trail hunting seasons on record. Here are shots from the last hunt of the season in typically dreary weather, but that didn't dampen the spirits of the group, who said they had a great but very muddy day. Dog thieves have struck at Paul Childerley's kennels. They made off with Paul's sidekick Duke from Beckerings Park in Bedfordshire, where he works. Witnesses report the thieves are driving a dark blue or grey Kia Sorento with Irish number plates. There is a link in the description below. A group of enterprising shooters have launched Game Meat March. The aim is to have a month of replacing farmed meat with game. Organisers say they want to raise awareness of how undervalued and versatile game is as a meat. They aim to promote it and post new recipes every day on their Instagram page. A Canadian is trying to stop hunting near his house. Andrew Risk, who lives northeast of Toronto, wants laws changed to prevent goose shooters from shooting near him. Goose shooting is popular on private property across the road from the subdivision where he lives. Risk complained that geese are landing on his property and dogs running in to get them. The local mayor sympathises but says it is unlikely the township has authority to do anything about it. Police also say the hunting is legal. A Danish hunting event has become another victim of the coronavirus. The Hunting and Outdoor Fair in Odense was supposed to be this week, but will now be in August. The postponement came after Denmark's Prime Minister advised event organisers to reschedule until the virus dies down. Anyone who bought tickets for the 13th to the 15th of March fair can use them in August. Anyone who cannot make those new dates can get a refund. A German actor and TV presenter is recovering from a recoil injury. Oliver Pocher was filming an episode of his show at a boar hunt in the US when he says the rifle scope got a little out of control during the recoil. Oliver says he needed 6 stitches in his face and quipped, "Take that, Harry Potter," referring to the lightning-shaped scar on the popular wizard character's forehead. 2 of the rarest giraffes have been killed. Rangers found the carcasses of a female and her calf in a village in northeast Kenya, and they suspect poachers killed them. According to the East African, the animals were only discovered in 2017, and the deaths of the mother and calf mean there's only one left. Scientists believe the animals suffer from a genetic condition called leucism, which stops skin cells from producing pigment. A Facebook user says she's considering suing companies who she says discriminate against businesses linked to shooting. American shooter Kelly McMillan says she's researching the idea and has plenty of support from social media users. She says some companies arbitrarily have decided to discriminate against those who operate businesses in the firearms and related industries. Shooters have told her how they were denied loans or insurance. Thanks to Per Holmseth for the story. And finally, a US school board has approved a hunting and gun safety program. Culpeper County in Virginia has long considered itself a Second Amendment sanctuary, and the 7-member board voted unanimously to offer a free hunter education program to secondary school students, according to Recoil magazine. The board aims to have the program in place by the next school year. The Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries has been running courses like this for years, as the video shows. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Coming up, our news editor Ben investigates the latest accusation of raptor persecution with the finger pointed once again at the shooting community. First, thermal. Is it the stalker's friend, or is it a tech step too far?
I can't see anything.
Not so long ago, being able to scan an area with thermal kit would have made you either incredibly wealthy or a danger to shipping.
They've been there every morning, so David's with us now.
Easy.
Pulsar spotters like these are still expensive, but they often pay for themselves with improved hunting success and even trips to the game dealer.
Just watch them go by.
This morning we join Kai on his permission with Tim, who's heading to another part of his ground. He's been seeing a lot of deer, so is feeling pretty confident, especially with the all-seeing thermal as part of his utility fanny pack.
A bum bag. I'm just fed up with having things like in my pockets all the time, so I've got a pair of gloves. I took that call out when I was doing Muntjac the other day. Wipes, extra knife in there, head torch. I'm gonna kind of keep everything in there really. So yeah. So when you're out, and bags for the offal. So when you growlick them, you keep the offal clean by placing them in the bag. And then also got extra space in there for, like, if I want to put my binos in there if I don't want them around my neck. But I just found it to be very useful actually.
Your fanny pack.
My fanny pack.
That's what the Americans call it.
That's what they, yeah. We call them bum bags. And they call them fanny packs. There we go. Fashionista. It's comfortable though.
It's a stunning morning, but there is little sign of deer. There are plenty of sheep which may be keeping them away. Many stalkers say that deer avoid sharing pasture with sheep.
This is getting exciting, David. This is getting really exciting. And I spoke to a couple of good friends about this, one of them being Trigger, my Norwegian mate. And he reckons because they eat the same type of food, they compete for the same food, so they're not interested. So a lot of people think they might be like scared of the sheep. Some people think that maybe it's because they just compete for the food. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a mixture of both, because even if you've got a few sheep in the field, it's very seldom that you'll see deer.
I thought it was something to smell.
Maybe. That's it. You speak to different people and everyone's got their own ideas. I thought it was just a mixture of kind of, they don't particularly like the sheep. And they They compete. They compete for the food.
You haven't tell one between the other way.
When you look at a sheep, you get a really bright head, and you get little bright legs, and then the body is kind of a dull, because obviously they've got so much wool that it's very well insulated. But when you look at a deer, it's kind of bright all the way through, so you can kind of, they really stand out like beacons. Whereas sheep are just their little heads. The little heads are shining.
Neil Rowntree in Scotland, when he looks at otters through the thermal, all you can see is their bottom hole, the only thing, because they're so well insulated.
Kai throws the thermal around. As a consequence, his stalking is bold, carefree. It means working with the landscape is unnecessary. However, we are spotting nothing. It's a lovely but fruitless stalk. We later find out that the farmer has been out foxing until the early hours, unsettling Kai's animals. So thermal doesn't guarantee success, but it certainly helps. With Tim also blanking, thanks to walkers straying from the footpath, it's an opportunity to discuss this morning's tech of choice and hot topic, thermal.
Lots of conversations at the British Shooting Show, some talking about people trading in their high-end optics in order to buy thermal. Obviously incredibly popular. You've both got thermal, you've both got Pulsar, I think, as the models you're using. So come on then, pros and cons. Why are you using it, and why in some cases maybe you shouldn't use it?
I'll let you go first, Tim.
I think one of the things I think people got to bear in mind is that when you go deer stalking, you probably are successful probably 20-30% of the time.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So you spend a lot of time out there. So, and if there is a deer problem, which there is in the UK, I think the deer population has doubled in the last 20 years. You know, we need to be more effective.
Yeah, like I was saying to David earlier on, with thermal, like for the likes of me and yourself, Tim, who we're on a farm now, I manage the population on this farm and the farm next door to it. Now, I've got a responsibility to keep the farmer happy and also to keep everything in balance. So I'm here not to wipe everything out. I use the carcasses for my business, so why would I want to eradicate completely everything? What the thermal gives me the edge so I can manage things properly. I can see where they are, we can make a plan, we can get in on them, and we can, so you can cover more ground very quickly. The farmer's happy. And not only that, everyone's busy these days. We're not professional deer stalkers, we don't do it for a living. So we've got to do it while we can. The weather's been absolutely terrible the last few months, so we've got to take every opportunity that we can to kind of, go out there. And the thermal does that, so I will never overshoot my ground. So it makes no difference if I had a thermal or not in that respect. The deer numbers will be at a sustainable level. It just gives me that edge where, to manage it a little bit better.
We talk about that edge, actually, was interesting, is that this morning we got here about, 5:30, whatever. But there's probably 200-300 acres around here which we shoot.
Yeah.
And what we were able to do is just quickly scan around and see where the deer were.
Yeah.
And this morning, unfortunately, there was no deer. But anyway,
we had no idea. No idea where the deer were.
But anyway, we were able to scan and have a look around, see what's going on.
Yeah.
And normally, if you do see a few deer, right, okay, there's some over there. The wind's not right. We can go around that way. It gives you the options.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Are you cheating?
No. 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 I would say no. I think it just helps you know where they are, and it helps you kind of make a plan. You don't obviously shoot them at night, but you, like you said, you learn more about them. So when you comes in the morning, you have a good idea about. So you might think that's cheating, but I think that is just gaining knowledge.
I mean, I suppose I've had thermal for about a year and a half, 2 years now, and I don't think I'm actually shooting an awful lot more deer. So that's an interesting.
But this is what I'm saying. We've got all the technology, and still we've got twice as much deer. So what?
Right. I think one of the things one's got to be very, very careful of is people, new people, young and old, coming to get into deer stalking and also fox shooting. Is old school. Okay, I'm a lot older than yourself, but old school.
Only a few years.
But when I used to first go out fox shooting, I had a little kind of mini lamp, and it's really down to really good kind of fieldcraft skills to be able to pull the fox and shoot it. Then we had huge, great million candelar lights, so that got easier and better optics and everything else. But actually nowadays I suppose if you compare yours and my stalking style, okay, you'll prefer to use a thermal. Yeah, scanning around, even when the light's coming up. Whereas I still like to look at the optics. But I've been out in
Yeah.
several situations where I'm looking around and you're going, Tim, what? Well, there's a deer there. No, there's not. Tim,
Yeah.
really? Got a film? Oh dear. So, you know, my slight concern is perhaps will thermal maybe cheating, but will that, you know, lessen people's ability to use real proper old-fashioned fieldcraft? Do they just see a deer, they go straight to it as opposed to spend lots of time scanning and glassing everything? I don't know.
If you go stalking with a lot of experienced stalkers, you'll notice how quick they can pick out deer with, you know, with even the naked eye. And I think you've been doing it for long enough. You know, I still pick that up, and I still take my binos with me today anyway. But even like, so if you're paying for a stalk, or if you're going, you want the real experience. You know, you don't really want to be using the thermal. You want the romantic idea of stalking, don't you? So, but people get into stalking, like you said. I think, you know, it's important that they learn without the thermal.
Well, maybe I suppose it's observation skills. Yeah, you know, shape. There's quite a shade. There's quite a few things there.
Yeah,
and you know,
it's like we talked about sheep earlier.
Yeah. So basically, if you're just with a pair of binoculars, I just love the concept. You're just sitting there, and as the light rises, like this morning, I was looking around, and things start appearing in front of you. You know, there's a robin there, or there's something appearing from there. Things appear, and those observation skills just teach you actually how to notice things.
Oh, I agree,
I just wonder if you've got a thermal, you go whoomph. There's a bird there, there's a rabbit there, right, move on.
Yeah.
So therefore, perhaps those skills may be lost in some way.
It's a lot more clinical, you know, using thermal. It's a lot more clinical. Yeah. But, like I was saying, for us, it serves a purpose when there's a lot of deer here, and, you know, you've got the season to try and bring down quite a few.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tool at the end of the day.
It is an aid, perhaps. It's another aid.
Yeah.
And the new technology, the more expensive ones. I mean, I was testing some pulsars last year. You know, very expensive pulsars. Yeah. And I was picking up these deer.
You brought one. I remember.
Yeah, I was picking up a deer over 1,000 metres. It was, and I was able to see further into the woods. So perhaps the difference between the cheaper ones and the more expensive ones is you have more intensity, you can see penetration inside these woods.
So at the moment, gents, we're just talking about the spotter, aren't we, really, as opposed to the actual scope?
Yeah, so we talk about, we are talking
it's purely the spotter. I mean, on the scope, obviously, if you're out on fox and everything else, you obviously have a thermal scope as well.
I don't use a thermal scope, and I have tried one, and not pulsar, another one, and I didn't like it, and the reason why I didn't like it, I shoot with night vision if I'm doing, you know, shooting at night, because you can see better. The thermal, you can see the animal, the outline, you know, you can see the thermal image of it, but you can't see the branches and stuff in front of it. You know, so there is a danger there.
I think yes, there is. You're actually right. With the thermal, you see more of a blob. With night vision, you see more of an outline. It's better for shooting. I think also technology is moving on again. Is actually the newer technology is actually that's kind of the thermal's coming an awful lot better.
Yes.
I just found with thermal I couldn't shoot as long a distance as perhaps with night vision.
Yeah.
But I think it's like anything. If I had it all the time, I'd probably be more practiced it. So.
Yeah.
But that technology is moving so fast. It's quite exciting in some ways, you know, because it allows us to see an awful lot more. Perhaps we didn't see in the first place.
No, it is, but like. You know that if you're doing a deer count on your ground, right, it is very valuable. You've got much better chance of actually counting a good percentage of the deer by using thermal.
Yeah.
You know, than using a lamp or trying to look in the first thing and last thing at night, because you'll never get the true numbers. But a thermal will actually now give you a chance to actually give you a real indication of deer numbers. And a lot of people I know, you know, they got more deer on their ground than they knew they had. And it's funny. And like here, we have a lot of residential deer. We have a few transient ones that come through. But you know, I know that like that top field, I mean, David took me this morning, is around 33 normally. And then you have a few coming over here that come across the road. So I know
the other thing to bear in mind is the cost of everything nowadays.
Yeah, that's
true. If you go back, you know, 10 or 15, 20 years, you know, everything was very cheap, you know, but nowadays is that things are a lot more expensive, but also people's access to finance. Perhaps nowadays people actually can, you know, pay off the thermal.
Well,
so that it comes at a hell of a cost. If you look at the youngsters now, they're walking around with this night vision or thermal. It's cost £1,000 or £2,000. Where's this money coming from? But
absolutely.
you have access to the credit nowadays, which makes it, it makes it easier for people to actually to invest in that, perhaps.
Yeah, and I also think it's like pressure from, because you see your friends have got it, you see other people have got it.
YouTube, everybody's doing it. I suppose,
I want that, and it's kind of and people want it, and it does, it does improve things and change things.
Technology, knobs and dials, we all want a bit more. So that's where everything's going nowadays. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has a place in your toolkit then. If you rocked up to a paid-for stalk, and your guide has got a thermal with him or her, would you be slightly disappointed about that?
Probably not, because with my experience of using thermal now, I think actually it's a tool, perhaps, in the armoury of actually deer stalking. If I was on the hill in Scotland, no, I don't think you need to have thermal, perhaps.
No. So the division is there. There's a division between lowland stalking and highland stalking.
Well, there you go. Yes, that's it. Yeah. So,
You're opening up a can of worms now, Tim.
Should we leave it there?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, chaps. Now, last week, a peregrine turned up dead with lead shot in it in Derbyshire. Our news editor, Ben O'Rourke, investigates.
Driving through Belper, a quaint town in Derbyshire, nothing seems out of the ordinary. But bubbling below the surface are sadness and rage at the loss of a beloved resident. And this is where it all began, the East Mill, a towering structure on the edge of town, home to pigeons and peregrine falcons, including one that died last week after operations to remove lead ammunition.
All we do know is that a peregrine falcon was picked up last week and was handed into the vets, and unfortunately since then has died.
The media has been pushing the idea the bird died right after it was shot.
It's an appalling act, and why anybody would want to do such a thing is beyond us, and at BASC we would totally condemn any form of raptor persecution.
Derbyshire Times website even went as far as saying it was blasted with shotgun in the headline. While it's clear the bird had been shot, when it was shot is not clear at all. The wound had healed. Could they estimate how long ago it was shot?
No, I have been asking the police about that. Whether potentially further tests could be carried out to actually ascertain exactly when it was shot. I don't know whether the police are going to kind of carry out further investigation.
What actually killed it was a detail some local newspapers ignored. The police made it very clear to us in phone calls and text messages it was hit by a car, then taken to the vets, who refused to give us any information. It was only when they x-rayed it, they say, they discovered the pieces of lead, though they can't confirm whether they were shotgun or airgun pellets.
They got one of the pellets out. There was a deeper pellet in the bird itself. I understand it was around the shoulder joint area. They were concerned that actually, if they left that pellet in, whether the bird actually would suffer from lead poisoning. It can affect their ability to fly properly, their manoeuvrability. It can actually attack the nervous system. It will actually kill the bird. So that's why the vet was so concerned that actually they should try and get the pellet out. Unfortunately, it didn't make it. It does beg the question that how many more birds potentially are flying around with lead pellets? We don't know. Certainly in this area, a bird has been targeted before. Clearly something is going on in that area in Belper.
So who done it? Some locals suggest the attack on the bird was linked to pigeon fanciers. Others say a developer may want the building cleared of Schedule 1 birds such as peregrines. So here's the happy ending you've been waiting for. Tim Birch says there's a new bird on the block, moving in from Derby Cathedral to take over the East Mill roost. The 2-year-old TSL has been trying to impress the falcon, and it looks like he's succeeding.
Thank you, Ben. Now, a quick happy birthday to one of our top supporters. David Bindley is a countryman and shooter, and a pleasure to meet him at the British Shooting Show the other day. And David is 60 on the 16th of March, so happy birthday, David. And if you want to know who to blame, it's Tracy, whom, as I assure you know, you are marrying on the 2nd of May at Knapton Church in Norfolk. Congratulations to both of you, and all the best. Now let's get on to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Brady's Fieldsports is crow shooting with the shot cam, the brilliant under-barrel device that both improves your shooting and replaces EastEnders as preferred TV viewing. It was good to meet Nico Else at the British Shooting Show. We gave his Umdende safaris in South Africa a plug in last week's Hunting YouTube. This week he sends me this, a blue duiker hunt from last year he's proud of. Here's an hour-long interview with another friend of Fieldsports channel and one of the best fishing filmmakers of all time, Hugh Miles. He is the man who brought us series such as A Passion for Angling and Catching the Impossible. Larissa Switlick is waterfowl hunting in Alberta, Canada with unleashed global adventures. She is the one attacked unfairly in the British media for shooting a goat and subsequently more fairly for posing with what looks like a sex toy. Squirrel shooting is big in the UK at the moment. This is squirrel shooting in the USA, where they have seasons for the animals and they have squirrel shooting competitions. This is the Gamo Squirrel Master Classic 2020 in a video hosted by Airgun Angie. Galaxy Hunters in Pakistan puts up own language hunting films and asks for a shout out. This one, a shot at a bird over a pointer well left. So you have an idea of what it looks like when it all goes right. Here is a film from Pakistan by Rizwan Ahmed showing a black francolin pointed, flushed and shot. And finally, any Arabic speakers among you? Egypt Sniper left a comment on our channel asking us to give his channel a plug. He's an air gunner and a decent shot. Even if you don't understand what he's saying, you can appreciate the shooting. That's it for this week. I've put all the films I can from this into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv.
I hope you enjoy all of those. Now one of ours. How bad are bullets for birds and beasts?
The way I'm viewing this at the moment is viewing it as a positive. It's probably a little bit of an unwelcome kick in the bottom to some, but as far as I'm concerned, I think we should embrace it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we can progress with it. Hi there, Chris. How are you doing?
Good.
Excellent. Well, in Fieldsports Channel podcast episode 30, Roy Lupton reveals just how much he doesn't like lead. The other day we gave Dave Carey a platform. He likes lead. Well, Roy is a falconer whose birds have suffered from lead particles in gralloch and even lead shot in rabbits. He talks to Chris Parrish in the USA in this film, who also enjoys hunting and shooting sports and who is also an environmentalist and captures Californian condors and monitors them for lead poisoning. Between Chris and Roy, they show how a lead bullet ban is working for big raptors, including condors. You can watch that on YouTube or you can listen to the podcast on our website, where you can also click to like us on Instagram and on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can back us at the Fieldsports Nation page. All of the links in the description below. And if you sign up for our register page, we'll send you a newsletter about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing. And I'm off to face a cruel, cruel world.